Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is David.
I'm John.
I'm Nicole.
Okay, and we worked on this project, we call it Helping Hands. It's a web tool to connect volunteers and institutions and also people who are in need. Whoops. All right. And let's see. Okay, a little summary here. It's a web-based application designed to assist those in need of immediate assistance. We can provide locations to shelters, food banks, hospitals, and law enforcement. Let's see. We can provide volunteer candidates an opportunity to help generate institutions based on their interest. And we're just hoping to raise awareness for social issues and just like getting people more into the volunteering spirit. And then also we can accept donations and then use those for like local institutions.
So the technologies we use for the front end, of course, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap to get the framework, and Reddit and Twitter widgets, and we use the font Awesome. For the back end, we use JavaScript, jQuery to make it easier, Ajax for the APIs. For our volunteer match API, we had a little trouble, so we had to use a proxy. We had to send it to a server, and that server sent the API calls and then returned it. And then we used the promise, which, because for JavaScript, it reads the code, so instead of waiting for the other function to run, it just runs at the same time. And we used the Google Places API and Volunteer Match API, which was more than enough.
All right, I'm going to talk about our method and approach. We decided to go with a responsive front-end design. This is because there's a lot of mobile devices out there, and we're not sure if people have access to a computer. The design is very simple. It's eye-catching. I think this is the best way to get people to want to stay on a website. On the back end, we had coalescing back-end languages. Basically, we made sure everything worked well together, leveraged common resources, some parallel processing going on. We also had the contact us form with validation email functionality. We also embedded a anti-spam and human validator component to it because we don't want our server to be overloaded with spam for like Viagra or whatever else out there. So I think that's something to keep in mind these days.
Me again? Let's see what we got here. Oh, just some things that we hope to implement in the future if we continue working on this project. Login capabilities for volunteers, so you can have your own like user profile. Rating system for the volunteers and a history of like all the stuff that they've worked on. Let's see, we can get we will give updates on how we would use any donations, like how we're allocating those funds. Also maybe a live chat functionality, so I don't know, if in the future we actually put this up, we would have someone there like answering any questions. And then also with the user volunteer profiles that will allow the nonprofit organizations to directly message volunteers that they think would best fit them. Okay, and now we're going to give a live demonstration of our website and answer any questions you guys might have for us. Let's see here. Okay, it's our homepage.
Okay, so this is our homepage, and once you log in, there are two buttons that you can choose from, the I want to assist and I need assistance. So if you click on the I want to assist, you just type in what you're looking for, like what you're passionate about. Like for example, if you type in homeless, and you also have two checkboxes here if you're looking for volunteer opportunities or for organizations involved with homelessness. And then you can click the enter key or find, and it should give you a list of all these things. This top one was nothing wrong with our code. It's actually the link itself. And you can just click on these links, and it'll just take you to the page. And there you go. And it'll also open a new tab, so you're still on our main page.
And that volunteer matcher, that was the main API we used for getting all the list of organizations and stuff.
And I'm here to talk about the second API, which is Google Places. Again, we have some drop-down tabs here. So for example, you say, okay, I need police right now. It's this is a meters which we can convert to miles or any other units really easily, and it gives you the closest local law enforcement. We can also set this to different cities, and we can also add keywords. So, for example, you're on like a homeless shelter in Jersey City. It pops up some. Hopefully these are, yep. Gives you some resources. One of the problems we ran into that is sometimes these locations, they might have unclear names, so it might be difficult for the person to be sure that that's actually a shelter and not something that just has a shelter name in there. Or it could be an animal shelter, which would be unnecessary for someone that needs human help.
Or sometimes it's like a gas station that
Yeah.
pops up or something like that.
So here just a little bit about us. Obviously, we help a lot of issues. You can donate to us. We got MasterCard. That doesn't work. You can
Bitcoin.
donate in Bitcoins.
Right now, those just bring you to the websites, but if we were to actually start doing that, then
Yeah. The contact page, which has, like I said, validation.
Yeah, and if you're having trouble reading that, you can click on it, and it'll give you spit out a different word.
Yeah, and it just says
That actually sends us an email on our
to email that we set up for this app.
helping hands RCB.
Scrolling down, we also have a Twitter, embedded Twitter, and also Reddit, just to help raise more awareness on these issues.
Yeah, and you can click on the different links in that's for the volunteer subreddit, and then from there you can just join the discussion if you already have a Reddit account and whatnot.
Yep. All right, any questions? Hold on.
Proxy. Can you describe to everyone how you guys even came to that and then how you implemented it?
We had help. We had help. So because the volunteer API wasn't really working for us, they needed like an encryption. So someone had to use a different server, and built like a PHP of the stuff that we could call, and then so we send in the request sends it to the server sends the API call, and then we get the response.
Yeah, and also for that API, I had to email them several times because they kind of want to know what you're doing with their stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to get they have to give you the okay to use it.
How long did that take?
They were actually pretty quick with getting back to me. They like a day or two later. And
Stacy?
First off, great job on this. I love how professional this website looks. It's like very clean and minimalistic, and it's really easy to use. I'm curious if you could scroll back up to the top of it. So those two buttons, I noticed that they take you to another page, right? Was that intentional, or like do you intend later on to like keep that all in the same area? Or was like why did you have that go to a separate page? It doesn't feel like it's branded as this one does.
Okay, all right, so
It was intentional.
the question was if it was intentional that these buttons take us to a separate page that's branded a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I need assistance.
Right. I understand. So I think we spent so much time like just getting the backend stuff to work. We would have liked to work a little bit more on the styling of the other pages so it fits our overall image a little bit better. But the main objective at the time was just to get those things work first and then work on the styling. And if I think we had a little bit more time, we might have been able to get that to work. But styling that was not like very high at the time on our priority. And to be honest, like we would have liked these buttons to be a little bit separate and more distinct because they look very similar. They might click on the wrong button.
also, I think in the future, like when you go to the other page, maybe at the top we'll have like helping hands. This is the assistance page or something like that, just so you're still within the same website and like you're talking about, like it kind of looks like you're going to a separate place.
I love how like I have a very simple decision to make though when I visit your website. Like there's two things there and I can decide between those, or I can like continue to scroll more and more. But like it's very clear like where you want me to go.
Yeah, we want to make it like very easy. Like these are your two
User-friendly.
options.
Yeah.
there you go.
User experience. Who came up with? How did you come up with that?
So I think I picked the basic theme and layout, but I think my teammates definitely contributed with how they want the page to look, some of the content and stuff.
Yeah, we
and
all
the
decided that
design,
we
yeah.
wanted to be, like she said, just like very straight to the point when you first log on. Like our idea at first was we want a place for people looking for volunteer opportunities and also people that need help. They can go on the same website. So we wanted that like boom right there, 2 buttons, and then all the other stuff is just kind of like extra telling about us. Like you don't even need to look at the rest of that if you don't want to. Right there in the front page, that's the meat and potatoes right there.
Also, if you click these buttons, it just takes you to the scroll down at the top, like the navigation
Like
buttons at the
donate,
top.
contact,
Yeah.
or if you want to learn more about this. Nate?
Twofold question. Can you resize the window a little bit for me? I just want to see the responsiveness.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay. Now, when you designed this, the second part of my question is, did you design it by looking at your browser, or did you try to take the concept of design it for like a mobile thing first?
It's not necessary.
Is it better one way than the other?
Right. We didn't necessarily go mobile first, but that was something we thought of pretty early on still, because we didn't realize a lot of people, they might have access to a cell phone, but maybe not necessarily a computer. So we want to make sure that they can still access all these services regardless. Right. Yeah.
So who did what, and how did you guys feel about it?
Who did what?
Yeah.
Who did the front end, who did
Okay. So I did most of the front end, the Google Maps API, the Twitter feed, some of the contents.
Yeah, I worked on the Reddit and the form, and also I kind of reworded some of the stuff that David had put in here about what we're about and what we do. I kind of gave that a little bit of a different feel, and also we both helped with the slides.
And I did the volunteer part
Yeah, she did a lot of work on the volunteer match API.
with help.
Great job, guys.